Hey Bayek, it's me Ian. And in today's video, well, I'm continuing my look at Alfred Hitchcock's films. And this is 39 Steps from 1935. This is Hitchcock when he was in Britain in the 1930s before he went to Hollywood. And this is highly thought of British film. Now, it's 86 minutes long. It just sails by. Rotten Tomatoes give it 86%, which for them, it's about as it. But it's, this had a lot of favourable reviews. Definitely. Now, the screenplay is by Charles Bennett and Ian A. Charles Bennett did work quite a bit with Hitchcock. So they got on really well in terms of writing screenplays. Because Hitchcock was very much involved in screenplays as well. Making suggestions, talking, and but he did trust them, and yeah, that's what he would do. He put his trust in them if he knew them. Now it's based on the 39 Steps novel by John Buchan, which was from 1915. Incidentally, another 2 feature films have been made of the 39 Steps in later years. I think there's one in 1959 and another one in 1978. So a bit more recent than that one. Now, as usual, as I say, it's directed by Alfred Hitchcock, and it's got all his signature kind of things that we expect from Hitchcock already there in place, and he's developing obviously his craft as a filmmaker and getting lots of praise for it, very much so. Now the music is by Louis Levy and Jack Beaver. I don't think the music is something that is outstanding in the films. It's there, but it's all just part of this period. Now, the Hitchcock signature appearance is 7 minutes into the film. We see Hitchcock walking past a bus outside the music hall. So it's quite fairly quick, but he's there. We always see Hitchcock. Now the locations are interesting in this. We've got locations in Glencoe, which is in Highlands, Scotland. We have the Forth Bridge and the railway one. There's 2 bridges. I've seen them actually myself. They're quite spectacular as well. But the railway one is at the side of it, and it really looks good. It's a great railway bridge, as well as the road bridge is very good as well. Anyhow, now there was filming in Edinburgh as well, King's Cross Railway Station, Piccadilly Circus in London, and the Palace Theatre in Reading. But as often is with Hitchcock, he would love to do. He didn't really like location filming. In fact, sometimes he'd send the second unit directors off to do some of the filming. Obviously, they'd be under very strict instructions, you can imagine. But he liked to do the scenes in the studio because he felt the studio, he could do so much more with his camera. And you can see that, obviously, even on the Scottish Islands bits and the studio bits as well that he built and put in. They look very effective. And you accept it. It's part of Hitchcock, and there's nothing wrong at all in that. It works well. It always works well. So let's look at the cast. We've got Robert Donut, who plays Hannay. He's the hero of the film, very much of that period. He was in The Private Life of Henry VIII, 1933. He was in Goodbye, Mr. Chips, 1939, which is a very popular film. He was in The Winslow Boy as well, 1948. And his last film was The Inn of the Sixth Happiness, 1958. He's very much that archetype hero, as I say in this film. But we'll go on. We've got Madeline Carroll, who plays Pamela. She's good, as usual, what you would expect with a leading Hitchcock heroine, blonde, beautiful to look at, sometimes a bit icy, a bit quirky as well, but it's all in there. And you know what kind of happens. In fact, she's very good because she provides actually between them sort of a bit of sort of comedy as well, which adds into the lightness of the story when it's needed. When it's, it certainly does. If you're on the run, you need some sort of that kind of thing, which is really good. I think that's a good touch to have in the film. Then we've got Lucy Mannheim, who plays Miss Smith. She dates back in terms of acting from 1919. Films that stand out that she was in The Mistress, 1952, and a film that we've covered, which is Bunny Lake is Missing, 1965. That's the Laurence Olivier film. Excellent film. Really is. And she was in a lot of TV sort of movies, German stuff, all that kind of thing. Yeah, very much so. Then we've got Godfrey Turl, who plays Professor Jordan. His career goes right back to 1908. Yeah, so we're talking silent era. His films that stand out: East Meets West, 1936. The Beginning of the End, 1947, which is like a docudrama about the atomic bomb. And the film is narrated by an actor playing Oppenheimer. Yes, we've got an interesting link with Oppenheimer, but it's very well considered. No, I know I heard many people mention about this last year when they were on about Oppenheimer. But anyhow, that was from 1947. And then he was in a film that a lot of people I know. It's one of those British whimsical films that people really, at that period, really loved, which was The Tickfield Thunderbolt, 1953. It's a railway connection with that film, yeah. Very good, excellent film. Then we've got Peggy Ashcroft, who became Dame Peggy Ashcroft, as I remember. She plays the crofter's wife. She was in The Nun Story, 1959, Secret Ceremony, 1968, Sunday Bloody Sunday, 1971, which is a very popular film, well appreciated, and the classic A Passage to India, 1984. They're just some of the films I should mention about her. She did also TV things as well. Then we've got John Laurie, who plays the crofter. John Laurie's a face you would know instantly. But his career went way back as well, from 1929. He was in The Four Feathers, 1939. He was in Henry V, 1944. That's the Olivier one. Treasure Island, yes, that's a popular one, 1950. He was in a Hammer film, yeah, oh yes. The Reptile, 1966. And, I love this, he was in the abominable Dr. Five's Vincent Price film, 1971. And, of course, why I say he's well known is because he was in Dad's Army. Yes, between 1968 and 1977 on TV, he played the funeral director, Frazier, the Scots man who was always gloomy and rolled his eyes and kept going, "We're doomed, we're doomed." That's it. It's Fraser. Yes, Fraser. Oh, wonderful Fraser. Oh, yes, great. Fantastic. Anyhow, you want to know what this film's about. Well, it concerns a hero, I suppose, Hannay, who, while visiting a theatre, as you do, you know, he kind of gets involved with this attempt that we get some shots, and this woman hooks onto him. He kind of rescues her, I suppose you can say, takes her back to his flat. And it's discovered, in fact, she's a counter-espionage agent who tells him a few things about what is going on at the moment. And she's very careful and cautious when she's there. And, of course, he suddenly wakes up and he finds her come in with a knife in her back. She's been killed. There's been people outside and he's got to get out of them. And, of course, it's a classic Hitchcock story of him going on the run, wanted for murder, an innocent man who has to prove himself. And it finds out that he must really stop this spy ring who are trying to steal, yes, top secret information. And the title, 39 Steps, all becomes clear. Even though he goes up to Scotland and doesn't know. Everything beautifully comes together as he's on the run, and we get the location stuff in Scotland, and wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It's what you can say about this. It's a very easy script in a way. It's very entertaining, very straightforward. Hitchcock is putting together. I don't think he's over the top in terms of shots. That sometimes when we see some of his things, you just go, oh, wow. I don't think you get the wow factor in here of the film, but that doesn't matter. It's still got a lot of elements in there, and the story works well. And it's got, say, the usual Hitchcock themes. He gets the best out of the actors. And the same, Madeleine Carroll is fantastic as Pamela, and her relationship when she's with Robert Donat, they work well together. They really do. Overall, this film is very entertaining, and that's what a film should be. And I say it goes by really quickly. There's nothing at all to kind of test your brain, if you want to say that terrible thing. And I love seeing, of course, you see all the railway stations. Well, Hitchcock loved his railway stations and trains, and we've got it all here. And the scene on the bridge is really good that they filmed. You've got those. You have got the Hitchcock moments, but they don't maybe quite as breathtaking as some of his later things, but it's all there, all building up in terms of his development of his career. And this is considered one of his masterpieces. Now, whether it's a masterpiece, I think, is debatable, but it is an excellent film. It's a quality film, because, again, it's Hitchcock we're measuring films. A term like masterpiece, you know, is it Vertigo? Is it Psycho? Is it The Birds? The quality of that? No. Is it Frenzy? No, it's not. But those are just the real high ones. This, it is well thought of. People say it's perhaps one of the best British films ever, but I don't think so at all. I don't think it is. I don't think you say it's the best British film ever. No, there's quite a few of them films that I couldn't name, but that's a personal thing. But it is a highly well thought of film, well worth seeing, and imagine that it is of the period. It is made in 1935. You've got to take that into account as well. But I think it works. So it really works well. Really, I don't know what else to say, but highly recommended. I suppose before I go, I should just show you the film. There it is, and there's the back. I know there's a bit of light shining on there. There's the back. There are some extras on here. There's a really nice documentary looking at the Hitchcock black and white films of the 30s, which is really good. And yeah, the extras are good. It's not very expensive, this either. It's a good release to get. So that's it. I've just got one more Hitchcock film I'm going to review next week, and then that'll be the end of it. But I may have another series coming up, which I'm thinking of a long-term project, though it'll be a million miles away from Alfred Hitchcock. But anyhow, I'm just keeping that secret at the moment. So that's it. I've gone on far too long. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We'll let you know when I put out these videos. And have a look at the playlist. See all the previous things and all the things that I do. And hopefully you might enjoy them, or perhaps you don't. If you like this video, please give it a like. Get it out to YouTube and all the algorithms. If you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments. And Bayek, it costs note. Hey, Bayek. You can't say fairer than that. So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.